students. Yesterday we have studied about stability of nucleus, binding energy of nucleus, binding energy per nucleons of nucleus, and also the what is the packing fraction and how can we define stability and instability according to the packing fraction. Today let's see what is nuclear force. As I told you that nucleons are binded together by the strong force, and due to that their binding energy is quite high, and to remove them or to break their bond, we must need to add a large amount of energy, which is also known as binding energy. It means that the nucleons are bind together by the strong force, and that is called the nuclear force. Actually nuclear force is the strongest force even observed in all the four fundamental types of forces. Like you know that four fundamental forces are strong nuclear force, weak forces or weak nuclear force, you can also say it. Third is that electromagnetic force, and fourth is the gravitational force. So as you know that among all these types of four forces, gravitational force is the weakest force, and strongest force is the nuclear force. We'll tell you why it is strongest also. So first, what is nuclear force? Simple. The force between any two types of nucleons are known as nuclear force. Means any two types of nucleon means, as you know that nucleons are proton and neutrons. Means there can be force between two protons, there can be force between two neutrons, and there can be force between one proton and one neutron, and the force magnitude of force is same in all of the pairs. Means it doesn't depends on the charge of the constituent particles or nucleons. It means that simple nuclear forces are independent of charges. Second thing is that as the proton in case of proton bonding, or there can be electrostatic repulsion, and due to their positive charges, means they are like charges, so that's why there will be electrostatic repulsion. But nuclear forces can bind together a proton to another proton. It means that is simple clear that nuclear forces are quite stronger than the even electrostatic repulsive forces. It means that it is stronger than the electromagnetic forces or electrostatic forces. Simple. It is observed that nuclear forces are 100 times greater than electrostatic force, and it is nearly 10 power 28 times greater than the gravitational force. You can assume what is the strength of the nuclear force. So that's why nucleus of an atom is the strongest and the most stable part, and we can't even break it by simply using or adding some amount of energy to it. Means if we have to break the nucleus, it means we have to apply a large amount of energy. Means it will be of this order of several mega electron volt, which can't be even produced by generally as we are using the means. Simple. It means that these forces are really very strong forces. Third factor is that nuclear forces are also depends on the distance, but they don't follow inverse square law. As you know that gravitational force and electrostatic or electromagnetic force follows the inverse square law. Means their magnitude inversely varies with the square of the distance. But here strong nuclear forces don't follow this rule, but it is observed that the nuclear forces are its value is 0 above 10 Fermi. It means that they are short range forces. Means when we go beyond the 10 Fermi, then the value of nuclear force becomes 0. It means that as you know that the range of nucleus is very short, and nuclear forces only acts in that range. Tiny means in tiny space, means their range is not larger as the range of gravitational force, and you know that static force is quite larger, and in case of gravitational it is infinite. But in case of strong nuclear force, the distance means its range is quite smaller, and it's the order of the size of the nucleus. And it is observed that when we go beyond the 10 Fermi, then its value becomes 0, and within this range, means within 10 Fermi, its value is means it has some value. It means that nuclear forces acts in that region, and on reducing the distance, then the 10 Fermi, its value increases. But as I told you that it doesn't depends on this inverse square law, but yeah, it depends on the distance, and means it is attractive, and the attractive forces between the nucleons goes on increasing while decrement with distance. But when it comes to 0.8 Fermi, then it's the value of nuclear forces becomes 0, and also means beyond this value, means not beyond, less than this value of means the distance less than this value, nuclear forces becomes repulsive. It simple means that in the range of 0.2 Fermi to 10 Fermi, the value of nuclear forces means nuclear forces are attractive in nature, but below 0.8 Fermi, its nature becomes repulsive. Since means simple, it's clear that the two nucleons cannot stick together due to the attractive forces. Means if they will try to go closer by the attractive strong nuclear attraction force, then when they come at the distance of 0.8 Fermi, means or below the distance of this 0.8 Fermi, then they strongly repel each other, and again they will go out from this. Means nuclear attractive forces can act between this range, and below this range it will be repulsive, and above this range this will be 0. So simple, it's clear that nuclear forces can be attractive as well as it can be repulsive, depends on the distance on in which it is working. So I told you this factor also. And third factor is that, as I have told, one definition is that definition of central force, means central forces are dependent on the distance, and the one more property was there, that the force is always directed towards the center. In case of actually nuclear forces, it depends on the nucleons and distribution of nucleons. So it is non-central force. It is not the central force. Yes, it depends on the distance, but it is not the central force. Next factor is let's see one curve which shows the variation of force with nuclear force with the distance. Suppose that on this we are taking nuclear force, and this is the distance. Means below, as you are seeing that at 0.8 Fermi, the value of nuclear force is 0. It means that below its, as we are seeing that its value is positive and it is increasing. It means that simple, if a value of force is positive, then force becomes repulsive. Below the region, below the distance 0.8 Fermion, no nucleon can attract together. Nucleon will repel together. It means that simple, the minimum distance can be between any two nucleon to bind together must be 0.8 Fermi or greater than 0.8 Fermi. Means it must lie within this region. And as you are seeing that on increasing of x beyond the 0.8 Fermi, the value of nuclear force becomes more and more negative. it means that the attractive forces value of attractive force increases, and again after some value it start to decrease, and when it comes to 10 Fermi, then again it becomes 0. Simple, it means that its range is quite its value is attractive between the region 0.8 Fermi 10 Fermi, and below 0.8 Fermi it is repulsive, and above 10 Fermi its value will be 0. It means that this is the range of nuclear force, and nuclear forces can be only work to the distance of 10 Fermi. We can also draw a potential energy curve for this. So that curve will be like as we are seeing that in potential energy distance curve, at 0.8 Fermi it has minimum potential energy. It means that if it will go below the 0.8 Fermi, then its potential energy will start to increase. It means that it becomes unstable, and repulsive forces will be greater between the nucleons, and below its potential energy is going to it's decreasing, means it meaning that its value will be attractive. Means we can define the attraction and repulsion property of nuclear forces with these two curves also. Next property of the nuclear force is that nuclear forces are exchange forces. Means nuclear forces are generated by the exchange of a new type of elementary particle that is called meson particles, and pi meson particles, which belongs to the meson family, and also bosons. So that's why pi mesons are responsible for the generation of nuclear forces. Means pi mesons are the particle through which neutron can convert it into proton, proton can convert it into neutron, even neutron can convert it into neutron, proton can convert it into proton, which was later proposed by Yukawa. I will tell you later that also. But here the fact is that, means here the exchange of particles is taking place, so that's why nuclear forces are known as exchange forces also. Okay. Next property is that nuclear forces has the saturation property. Saturation property means that nuclear forces are affecting to its neighborhood particle only. Means nucleons don't affect actually other any other nucleons in their neighborhood. Only it means suppose that this is the region of the nucleus, there are so many number of nucleons, then this nucleon will affect it only to its neighborhood particle. It will not affect this particle which is not in the neighborhood of it. So that's why they have saturation property, means they can affect only the its neighboring particles, not the all the types of nucleons. So I think simple what is nuclear force and what are the properties of nuclear force, that is now clear to you. If the properties of nuclear force is now clear to you, now let's see how nuclear forces are generated and what was the theory proposed by the Yukawa. And that theory exactly explains us how the nuclear forces are produced, and later even Heisenberg even tried to remove some discrepancies of this theory. Means simple, actually there were no discrepancies, there was some confusion regarding to that theory, and Heisenberg even solved that. So I'm going to tell you that thing, how what was the Yukawa. So the next topic is nature of nuclear force. As I have told you that nature of nuclear forces are exchange type of nature, means they are exchange forces, and this theory was proposed by Yukawa, and he suggested that in the nucleus there are large number of tiny particles and they are covering the nucleons in the nucleus, and they are called pi mesons particles. Their nature is like the bosons particles, means they are categorized in the category of bosons. As you know that particle have two types of categories, bosons and fermions, and bosons are those which obey Bose-Einstein condensation law, and fermions are Fermi-Dirac condensation law. So pi mesons particles are categorized in also in that types of elementary particles, and its mass is nearly 270 times the mass of the electron. And there are three types of particles in the family of pi mesons: pi 0, pi plus, and pi minus. Where pi 0 is the neutral in charge, and it is known as neutral pi meson. Pi plus is positive in charge, and this is called positive pi meson, and this is of negative charge, it is called negative pi meson. So these three types of pi meson particles are responsible for the strong nuclear forces, and their tendency is that simple to exchange means they helps to exchange proton into neutron, means they help to exchange one nucleon into another nucleon. So that exchange can be of between two proton, between two neutron, between one proton and one neutron. And the different types of particles they absorb or they emit continuously in the nucleus. Actually, the theory came into mind of Yukawa because it was a contradiction. Even it was discussing topic that time was that if protons are simple positively charged particles and they are distributed in the nucleus, and obviously they are not uniformly distributed, but they are distributed as they are distributed means that large number of protons can even repel each other, and due to their repulsion there must be some of the nuclear energy should be used to overcome their repulsive energy to maintain the bond between them. It's very simple that if you are working something and someone is opposing means someone is opposing to your work, then if you want to continue your work, then you have to resist that opposing force. So if you will resist, then definitely some of your energy you will use, and obviously you will your strength will be reduced by some amount, means your working speed will be slower. So in the same manner in the nucleus, if there are if protons are means they are providing repulsion on each other, so definitely due to their repulsion they are resisting their bondation, and as nuclear forces are responsible for their bonding, so definitely some of the energy of nuclear force will use to overcome that repulsion between the protons. So definitely if some of the energy will be used, then the strength of nuclear forces will be somewhat less than now. And again continuously, as they are charged particles, means if they are charged particles and continually they will repel each other, means continually nuclear energy must be used to overcome their new repulsive forces, and ultimately the strength of nucleus must be even quite smaller, and even we can easily break that after some time due to their repulsive energy. But as you know that theory and observations shows us that nuclear forces are the strongest force even obtained in the nature. So what is the reason behind it? That was the even you can say it, that was the most debating topic that time, means even no one because this contradictory topic and simple the repulsion of proton lead us to again think about the stability of the nucleus, because if repulsive forces will be continually goes on, then definitely nuclear stability will goes on decreasing, and ultimately nucleus will be destroyed. So and that cannot be possible, because if we are like here in this shape, then we must there are some atoms or molecules through which we are composed of, and every atom has the its base as the nuclei. So that's why nuclei are very strong, actually stronger, so that cannot be even breakable. So Yukawa suggests a theory for that, for the confusion of that. Means he suggested that in the nucleus, proton are not even continually be in the position in the means in the nature of proton. They converted into neutron rapidly, and even the neutron converted into protons rapidly. Simple theory was that nucleons are interconvertible in the into each other in the nucleus, and as they are interconvertible and they use these three types of elementary particles for their interconversion, means they are exchanging into each other. Proton is converting into neutron, neutron is converting into proton. They are rapidly doing it. Means that until there will be repulsive force, even the two protons will come in the repulsive region, then before that proton will be converted into neutron. As you know that neutron is neutral types of, means there will be no repulsive force, repulsion between proton and proton there, because that proton is converted into neutron now. So proton neutron will not show any types of repulsion. So this was the theory of Yukawa that solved the stability case of the nuclei that was arises due to the repulsion between the protons. So I think this is simply clear to you what was the theory of Yukawa. Simple. If proton are not existing longer to repel each other, means they are converting into neutron, and neutron cannot exert any types of repulsive forces. So that's why the problem will be automatically solved. There is not such types of any repulsive forces, because before repulsion they are converting into neutron, even before repulsion they are again means their interconversion solved the stability of the problem. And that's why this theory, for this theory even Yukawa got Nobel Prize for that. And also I think this is simple, clear to you. Let's see some formula for that. We can easily understand it for the from the equation. Suppose that neutron is converting into proton. So neutron can be converted into proton by using these particles, means these charged particles. With the help of these charged particles, this can be converted. Means simple one thing is that nucleons can absorb these types of particles and nucleons can emit these types of particles. So that's why the number of particles, these elementary particles, elementary meson particles, is continually constant in the nucleus. Means they are only help to the nucleons to bind together to the to convert into one another, but still there is no work of them. Only their presence helps them to interconvert between each other. Means the nucleons can absorb them, nucleons can emit them. Ultimately their number will be constant. Like that, first let's see the case of absorption. So if one neutron can absorb a positive pi meson, then it will be converted into proton. Simple. As you know that proton has positive charge, and if you will apply charge CPT theory, then it will be this theory tells us that this reaction, this conversion is possible. So that's why this is acceptable conversion. Means neutron can convert into proton by absorbing a pi meson. Similarly, by absorbing a negative pi meson, proton can convert it into neutron. Means proton has positive charge, and as you see that charge is conserved here also. Means other conversions are also here possible. Means this reaction is also possible. So by absorbing these two positive charges, these two positive pi mesons, easily neutron and proton can be converted into each other. Similarly, they can emit even these types of particles. So let's see how can they emit. Also they can convert into each other. Proton can be converted into proton, neutron can be converted into neutron by using this, because this is neutral. Again the charge theorem, CPT theory is followed here. Neutron can also adjust, emit these pi mesons while converting into proton. Suppose the neutron is converted into proton, so while changing into proton, it will emit a pi minus, negative pi meson. Similarly, proton can emit positive pi mesons. Neutron can be converted into neutron by emitting neutral pi mesons. Similarly, proton can be converted into proton by emitting neutral pi mesons. Means as from all these equations, it is very clear that there is with the help of these interconversions, there can be force. Means if there is any types of interconversion of the particles is taking place, it means that those two atoms are binded together now. Due to exchange of particles, they can easily bind together, and this is the concept of even arisation of force. So it means that there will be a force between neutron and proton, proton and neutron. So there, as you are seeing that simply they are converted into, neutron is converted into proton, proton is converted into neutron with the help of these pi mesons. It means that simple nucleus are there is, due to exchange of particles, there may be some force between the nucleons, because this is the basic theory of the forces. And if there is anywhere is, if there is exchange of particles is taking place, then definitely there will be some bond between that two particles. There will be a force acting between that two particles. So definitely if there is exchange of particles takes place and they both are exchanging, means simple, there will be force between neutron and proton, there will be force between proton and neutron, and obviously there will be also force between neutron and neutron, proton and proton. Means simple that there will be force between all nucleons that bind together, and that force arises due to exchange of these pi mesons particles. That's why this is called exchange forces. And also from these equations you are seeing that simple these types of nuclear force is means simple nuclear forces are independent of charge, even they depends on the magnitude of the charge. Actually, nuclear force depends upon the magnetic moment and spin of the nucleons. Means if spin of nucleons are parallel, then the strength of magnetic field is greater, and if the spin is of the nucleons are anti-parallel, then the spin is then the strength is smaller. Means simple, the alignment of nucleons also can affect the value of nuclear force and stability of nucleus. Means if they are aligned parallel, then definitely there will be strong nuclear force, and if they are aligned anti-parallel, then the strength of nuclear force will be smaller. But simple, they are charge independent, and even with the help of Yukawa-Meson's theory, we can easily explain what is exchange force, how the simple nuclear forces are generating, and how they are exchanging these three types of pi mesons. Means obviously, as I have told you, that they can absorb, they can emit these pi mesons, and they cannot affect the number of even these pi mesons. Means they don't, even if they are absorbing it, then they will emit it. So ultimately, if you will see the number of pi mesons, then that will be constant in the nucleus, and they are even distributing all over in the all of the space of the nucleus around the nucleons. So that's why nucleons can easily absorb any of the pi mesons according to its need, and they can be converted into the another nucleon, and they can be bind together. So I think now it's clear to you, and now it's the stability of the nucleus is also clear to you. Why how the theory of the repulsion of protons can be understood, and means the stability factor which were causing problems to understand the stability of nucleus is now clear to you by the help of Yukawa-Meson's theory. So I think this theory is simply clear to you. In this theory, there is it is also observed that there is uncertainty between energy and time of the conversion. Means if we are detecting time of conversion of neutron into proton, means if we are detecting the in how many times it is converted into this nucleon, then if we want to observe the energy of the proton at the same instant, then there will be uncertainty in the measurement of the energy. And similarly, if we are measuring when the neutron is converted into proton, and we are calculating the energy or measuring the energy of the conversion, then at the same time the measurement in time will be there will be the uncertainty, and it is predicted by Heisenberg. Okay, so I think all the concept regarding to nuclear forces and nature of nuclear forces is now clear to you. So if it's clear to you, then in next classes let's see the stability of nucleus according to the concept of number of protons and number of neutrons. As I earlier